Hey friends, J-Online here. Today I'm back with some Dodgy jungle gameplay. I decided to break out the old Dodgy again because I managed to get that skin she had 1 or 2 battle passes ago, which is basically just a recolor of Dodgy Syndicate. Nonetheless, I found it kinda cool. I had no opportunities to break it out, so here we go. We start out fairly standardly with our mid laner in the speed camp. As far as I know, it's currently the meta start that you both team up to take the speed camp and then the red camp. And here, yeah, I helped the Freya a little with the Hand of the Gods. So I think that was money well spent because it made us get into the lane in time with our opponents. And now we can kind of start to struggle over killing the minions and damaging and outpoking our opponents at the same time. Dodgy is a fun character. I always enjoyed playing her since I picked her up. I do find her kind of challenging on console, usually because the auto cancel, you have to be really good at hitting the autos, and what ends up happening more often than not is that I click the one ability too fast and I end up not hitting the basic attack, and then I get stuck with it with no way to get it off. I would really love it if at some point in the future Dodgy would get the option to get rid of the one, even if it incurs the cooldown and the mana. I think it would be helpful to us potato players who can't consistently proc it off. Here I goof a little. I almost get yoinked by Danzaburou. The unexpected Danzaburou mid and Ganesh jungle really almost pulled the turn here, but luckily we did retreat fast enough in order to escape back into base. I have started this game with Boomba's Dagger because I think any other starter item for junglers does not provide enough healing or sustain in the jungle itself, and not enough power or damage, and Boomba's Dagger offers both of these, and I just find it very nice to play with it in the jungle. Besides, the upgrades are really attractive, especially Boomba's Hammer, but in this game I'm currently leaning more to Boomba's Spear because I want to build a lot of cooldown based items before I get to the Boomba's Hammer anyways, and I don't want to give up on the power that Boomba's Spear is able to offer. Here I see that Danzaburou is in a vulnerable position, but I neglect the minion damage and I neglect the Ganesh damage because for some reason in my head Ganesh is just a support, but here obviously he's the mid laner, I guess. Actually, at this point of the game, I'm not even sure who is the mid laner and who is the jungler. They're just both teaming up in the mid lane. But yeah, it's supposedly good for us that they're doing this, because if one of them actually is the jungler and they're not going directly to the jungle, that means they're leaving a lot of experience and gold on the table. So they may win the lane, but they're splitting everything, and they're surely gonna get behind and farm. What I'm doing right now is to forfeit the pressure in the lane and proceed to go to the jungle, hit a few of these camps for experience and to help my other teammates clear their buff camps. It will get the team ahead in the long run. Apart from the Boomba's Dagger, I've also started to work on a Transcendence. I feel like Transcendence is a worthwhile start nowadays. It's a very good item in the sense of mana, MP5 and cooldown. When you finish stacking it, it provides 10% cooldown reduction, and it also provides a ton of power up to that point, so that's always a nice bonus. It helps you clear the jungle really well, and it also helps you get kills. However, in the current meta it is difficult to get kills in the first place since everybody's gotten so damn tanky since patch 9.5. But we're an assassin, we have no problem playing dirty. I'll just show up when they least expect it and get a kill, then retreat. For example, here I can punish the positioning of our opponents because they're very out of their safety zone. So I get a kill on their Chang'e, which I believe is their support at this point. Yeah, that seems to be how the lanes are going. Izanami is the carry. Chang'e is the support. Ganesh is the mid laner, and Danzaburou is a jungler. A very wonky team composition, but I can respect that for sure. After all, this is what casual game mode is for. Don't let your memes be dreams. Ganesh is just sticking to the lane. Neither him nor my teammate Freya are going after these neutral jungle camps, so they're leaving a lot of experience, but if I'm here to collect it, I guess it's not as bad. Now here I believe I'm doing something completely risky that I did not need to do, but I am managing to at least burn some beads if nothing else. And exactly that. And since I just broke enough money in my bank account to get myself a brand new Transcendence, I'm going off to get that. As well as a couple of wards. Remember, wards win games. Maybe that's not as true in this game, because both the jungler and the mid laner seem to never be leaving the lane. But nonetheless, it would be very helpful in case somebody were to come and visit. You can detect rotations early, you can defend yourself, your teammates can defend themselves, and you can rotate around and punish them for it. All thanks to the power of vision. I should get my new glasses too. My team seems to not be able to clear up, but at this point I feel like it would be irresponsible for me to put myself that much out of position to chase that kill on Ganesh, so I just go after the minions. I get the experience, which I can split with Freya. Also good, Freya's very late game oriented, and getting her even a slither ahead is always worthwhile. However, due to the retreat, I was able to do the red buff. Since I see Danzaburou and I'm not willing to take any combat encounter here, I'm going to retreat. The reason why I'm extra cautious here is because I know I'm in enemy territory. Any rotation from their side would take significantly less time than a rotation my team would need to do to support me. And then I see that I'm kind of screwed over anyways, and got killed by the Chang'e basic attack, which is unfortunate, but what can they do? And what can I do? I've been playing out of position. This kill actually makes a lot of sense. Checking out the builds and my teammates. I can confirm Ganesh is mid, Danzaburou is jungle, and Chang'e is a support. So I get killed, but I'm not very much behind. Only a tiny bit. So I keep going to farm. Farm, get to the late game, get better items, and see if I can punish anybody who's out of position during the process. I don't know if any of you remember that time, but there was a point in Smite's history, I think it was season 6 or 7, where they decided to introduce like a jungle shrine. I think that was one of the weirdest additions Smite ever had. They're like, oh, the jungle role isn't as impactful as players want it to be, so we added some gold shrines that players can punch in order to get a kill. That was pretty weird. I rotate right in time to get a kill on the Ganesh. I managed to get the Daji ult on the Danzaburou, and hopefully I'll be able to get a kill as a follow-up. If Ganesh gets the kill, that's also fine, I don't mind. Aha, got a kill. But Chang'e is here to punish me for it. I'm a fool and I keep chasing her too much. Now I'm out of position with no escape options, and Chang'e can easily turn it around on me, and here she comes, and that's what she does. Die to the ultimate. Got waxed by Immune. I mean Mute. However, because she had to put herself in such bad positioning, she could have also gotten ganked. But... oh, I was afraid the teammates almost wouldn't be able to punish her for it. But all's well that ends well. Except for that Ganesh kill. But oh well, Ganesh getting a kill with nobody to bestow it upon. That's also a sight worth seeing. Anyways, I am back from the fountain. I go to the speed camp and restart my farming rotation. One issue I've always had with playing junglers is that I play way too support-like. I believe to get ahead on the jungle you need to not only be on top of your rotations and ganks and farm your jungle camps, you also have to show up in your teammates' lanes in order to share minion XP with them. But I always have the support mindset. I say, oh no, these are your minions, you're deserving of this. Which, yeah, I don't know. I guess you have to play more selfish in some roles than other. For sure in support it won't bring you far to play selfish. I'm in a bad position. This Ganesh is able to capitalize on it, and Danzaburou is here to punish me for it. If somebody surprises me, that's gonna be my end. But, I miss all the dodgy chains. Unfortunate. I pull back, tuck my tail between my legs, and I return back to base to fight another day. Team is making quick work of Ganesh though. I wonder how long he'll be able to keep this up. Not much, apparently. So yeah, what can you do? Sometimes you're not going to hit all the dodgy chains. However, jumping in and causing a lot of chaos and then having that ultimate button to just get up on the Powwow and be immune for a bit is worth it in of itself a lot of times. If you can burn beads or put somebody out of position in addition to that, that's well worthwhile. Here, my Gilgamesh and I have an opportunity to gang up on this Achilles. Hopefully we can get a kill, but he seems to be pretty tanky and I'm not able to take him out that efficiently. But since Gilgamesh has a ton of control and was able to push him back and stun him into a wall, we were able to get the kill. So I helped myself to some of the camps here. And I see that there's a lot of action happening in the mid lane. So I decide to be a part of it. Here I show up. But at this point the enemy team is well aware of me. I attack their Chang'e. She is not as tanky as that Achilles. And I am able to get the kill. However, my position now is horrible and I will have to really run for it. And use my blink in order to escape the enemy's clutches. But at this point I'm already 5 kills, which offsets my 3 deaths somewhat, which is nice. And if I'm able to get away with my life and get a Hydra's from that, that's well worth it in my book. Now that I've finished leveling the 1 for the maximumist assassinating potential, I'm also starting to invest some points into the 2. You will notice that I don't put points into the Daji ultimate because I believe that the ultimate is exactly as useful with max points as it is with 1 point. It does not reduce the cooldown as far as I'm aware, and the damage on it is nice, but it's not as relevant as on the other abilities. The other abilities come up way more often, and the damage on the Powwow is really not the selling point of it. It's way more important to get your immunities, be able to jump away from it, and to displace the enemies or burn their beads. The damage on the ability is kind of an afterthought. I am able to kill the Scorpion. It took me a significant amount of HP, but farm is farm, and I'm really trying to get ahead on this match. Currently we seem to be slightly ahead in the gold and in the kills, but we're kind of equal in the levels. As in, our Gilgamesh is right on par with the enemy carry, with the Izanami. Ganesh is playing the matchup pretty well, because Ganesh knows that he should just wait for me to use my channeled ability, and then he can very quickly use his silence to get me out of it. However, I am able to clean it up anyways, because I just use my basic attacks patiently. If I were to play this matchup any better, I too would be aware of the fact that he can just cancel me out of my 2. Oh no! What unfortunate timing and circumstances. I got killed by Danzaburo's ultimate coming out from the jungle. Danza's jungle is scary, man. I feel scarred from this encounter. Anyways, back to the encounter with Ganesh. If I would be a better Daji, I would keep in mind that Ganesh has the ability to take me out of my 2. Very easily, and I would just hold on to it. I would let him use the 2 when it does not interrupt mine, and then I'd retain the ability to chase him a little bit better, because on a one-on-one trade, as we've seen, he's not able to keep up. My basics will outperform his basics and abilities. So getting killed is unfortunate, but we're still ahead. We're 6-4, it's fine. We seem to be below in gold now, which is kind of unfortunate, but nothing that determinative. See that there is quite a brawl going on in the right lane, but I'm not sure if I should involve myself. After all, Achilles is extremely tough to beat now, and he's almost owning our Gilgamesh. But I decide to involve myself anyways, just for some peel for my teammate, if nothing else. Maybe burn his beads. I think Achilles had no beads to begin with, also, which is also fortunate. And we're almost able to get a kill, and we nailed it. Nice job. Now I'm too scared to go to their part of the jungle now. I don't know where anybody else is. Aha! There was good reason to be scared. There's Danza, he missed his rocket. And if he won't be able to escape in his leaf form, we can chase him out pretty hard and get a kill. So we turn it around again. Now that both their solo laner and their jungler are down, Even though I have less health than before, I feel confident enough to go to the jungle and help myself to whatever I find, because I have less fear of being ganked. Everybody else is supposed to be in their lane as far as I can tell. Mid laner is in, and the carry and support are probably too far away to care. So I take out all the harpies and the blue camp, and I even help myself to their scorpion, which at this point is super greedy because I'm also kind of close to the mid lane, but hey, what the hell. In for a penny, in for a pound, am I right? I would have wanted to kill these harpies, but I am already very low, and I don't think that I'd be able to kill them before it gets dangerous or I get rotated on. So I decided to just back it up and get a crusher. Sorry, it's not a crusher, it's a Brawler's Beatstick. The reason I get that is because they have some innate healing on their team. Chang'e is able to heal her teammates, and I want to negate a part of that. Besides it being just a good flat pen item. Flat pen is usually very valuable if you're trying to kill the squishies. It won't help you kill tanks if they build defense. I mean, it will, but it's not as valuable as percent pen. However, the combination of it just being a generally good item and the anti-heal that's in it are enough to convince me to get that.
That's what they get for opposing master.
So yeah, the match is looking nice so far. I got myself a Heavenly Wings as my second relic. I believe with Daji I won't be quick enough to use my Aegis appropriately, but I'm able to give my teammates extra speed and also chase enemies better if I pop my Heavenly Wings. Mobility is king. Mobility is as important as good positioning are because they influence each other, is my opinion. I don't really believe I'm able to get a kill on Achilles here because he's just too tanky and the only one who's helping me is our support. But that doesn't matter much. We got kills on other players and that's good enough. So now we can go and farm our brains out. I take my Ganesh with me, I'll let him know, hey, I want to take this thing. He understands, and he takes aggro so that I can safely deal damage and not take any more damage from the Scorpion. The enemies are already up. If this were to happen on the other side of the map, I would call for a Gold Fury, and if I were with my carry, I would also call for a Pyromancer, but since none of these happened, I believe these calls would be too risky for now, so I just go and farm a little. We have no vision on anybody else, but then a Chang'e suddenly appears. I'm not gonna chase the Chang'e because she's a support, and the whole point of Daji is to kind of show up, kill somebody really fast and escape, and that's not something you can really do if the opponent in question is buying defense items. You won't be able to delete them that fast. I start doing these oracles, but then most of the enemy teams show up and scare me, and I get spooked and cornered, so that's unfortunate timing, and my ult just came up, so I should really use it. Got one. Got two. Chang'e can of course easily immune it. Enzabur cannot, but it did not matter for him. He got healed and he managed to kill me. However, luckily Artemis was in the area and she got the avenge so fast, I tell you what now. I was only frustrated for a second there. Team fight seems to not be going as well on the other side of the map. We keep losing another player. Now down with the Freya. But I am happy this Gilgamesh is having a good time in the solo lane. He seems to be outperforming Achilles now. Finally got some basic attack-oriented items in his build. Nice, and our Artemis was able to take out the enemy carry, the Izanami. Next item I'm working on is going to be a Titan's Bane. It provides a lot of percent penetration, so that's the tank buster item of the build. It provides 20% and then some additional on your first ability, and then that component has a cooldown. But it's just really helpful if you're trying to help your team get rid of tanks.
On my way.
The team at this point of the game is all over the map. I think at this point it would be better to team up and go do objectives rather than everybody for himself and we keep farming. But this is kind of the way that random teammates in Conquest are. You usually won't be able to rally them too much. Everybody just goes and does what they want. So if that's already the case, I say just go with it.
Better them than you, Master.
If I'm joining the team fight on the other side, then I wouldn't be anywhere near the Gilgamesh, who is also currently getting ganked. It's just tough to know where to be. But of course you're the jungler, so you get the blame whenever somebody gets out-pressured or ganked. Gilgamesh with the cancel again. However, thanks to an Artemis trap, we are able to finish the job. Izanami retreated. Here I managed to land a chain on her, but I guess she had beads. So at least the beads got burned, which is also valuable. We have vision on the rotation to this lane, so we would have known if somebody were to come help the Izanami from the middle lane. If they were to do it around the purple buff.
Your right tower is under attack.
Gank middle lane.
Freya wants to gank middle lane. I wonder what she found there. If it's just a Chang'e, it may not be worth the time, because it's very tough to kill. But she seems to have run into 2 enemy teammates, so that's problematic. Again with this Danzaburu, maybe I'll be able to pick up the kill on this guy. He immunes my 2, but I have still 3 to follow up on, and I get the kill. However, this Chang'e teaches me a lesson then. And Izanami rotates in and finishes the job. Good on her, well played.
Get back in there and show them who's boss.
I finally get my Titan's Bane. I feel like whenever I encounter Achilles now, I will have a way easier time trading with him. But of course, because he builds defenses, it will just be better, it won't be good. It will always take a longer time to build them.
An enemy has been slain.
But I feel like at this point in the game, even though we're behind on the gold, our team really is pressing the advantage. We have more kills, considerably more than the enemy team. Our team fight seems to be going well.
Double kill.
And our Gilgamesh gets the kill on the enemy support on the Chang'e. Good on him. At this point he's just going ham, look at him. Auto attack Gilgamesh for the win. Even better than the Freya. The team will band in the middle lane and be able to take down the middle tower. So now we're facing a tier 2 tower in the middle lane. I want to catch up to the team real quick, but I also want to take the speed buff. I think it would be crucial to have more mobility with the role and the character I'm playing. And of course I cannot let all this XP go to waste, because we still have to race to level 20 in order to get our damage and our items up. Specifically the finishers for Boomba's dagger are very valuable. These are ones I will not want to give up on.
Be right.
Ooh, sick burn.
Since the team fights are kind of fading, I decided to stick around and take another Scorpion.
Your team has fully powered the obelisk.
Too easy.
And we also have the Obelisk, which is very nice, but I think nobody is taking any detours in order to activate the Trebuchet. We're all too concentrated on team fights right now, which is also fine. Clear up some minions. And protect our middle tower. Seems to be a lot of fighting going on in the left lane again, but I'm too far to care. I mean, at this point, even if I did care. Yeah, see, I actually called out a rotation and I'm on my way, but then all my teammates over there get killed. So I turn tail and I stay falling back. Freya here seems to have almost reached her final form, which will be very invaluable for team fights and to take down objectives. I don't know about this Fire Giant call. If we do Pyro, I can agree with it. But also this Gilgamesh is very far from the site he was calling us to do. So maybe he just meant to do the Gold Fury. I don't really know. I decide to get a defense item as a last item after the Titan's Bane, but not before I upgrade my Boomba's dagger into a Boomba's spear. This will provide a ton of damage against jungle monsters and jungle bosses, I believe. And you also get some nice sustain, which is important because I have 0 lifesteal in this build. There's no way to sustain myself apart from killing jungle monsters and pull the spear passive effect. Now here I decide to go ring around the Rosie and show up at the back of the team so that I can do some damage like this. Izanami is trying to run, but I chase and I get the kill on her. So that encounter went pretty well. Now we have an Achilles to worry about, so I try to get into position and do some basic attack with basic attack cancel. As I get low, I push my ultimate button in order to displace some opponents, but I'm not sticking around to clean up. Apparently everybody had beads again, but more importantly, I was able to immune myself and they did not get a kill. So I call out that I'm heading back, heading to the fountain to heal, and got to start working on Mantle of Discord. Though it will hinder my show up, kill and get out potential, I think one defense item, especially if it's one that provides such high value as Mantle of Discord, is well worth it, because otherwise I just get killed too fast. And here I completely goof. I show up, get Ganesha ultied, get held in place, auto-attacked by Danzaburu, and yeah, that was definitely not the play. So I'd love to say I threw the game there, and that's what I will, as a matter of fact. It definitely pays off to be patient. I don't know if this is just with Daji or with other assassins, but if you don't have your immunities or your get out of jail card, like in this case, my ultimate, you should definitely be very careful with how you engage. The previous team fight was more successful in as the teams were already fighting, so their attentions were focused on each other, and by the time I showed up they had no resources or attention span to allocate to the problems I was posing. But this time I just showed up out of nowhere and I was the only target in range for them, so of course I ate every basic attack and ability on the planet. It is important to keep that in mind and to try and improve that in the next encounter. And there seems to be a fight growing around Gold Fury. Maybe we'll be able to get the Gold Fury if we win that, and if not, and if we outpressure them enough, we can also maybe get the tier 1 tower on the left lane.
That's what they get for opposing master.
Freya gets a kill, good on her, very well done.
An ally has been
But she gets
slain.
punished and she's out of position. So the Chang'e gets a cleanup kill on her. Now I try to do something that's kind of funny. I see my Ganesh is in trouble, so I walk up here and I try to use my ultimate. And I try to pull some of the enemies over here as a form of peel. But I guess they all had beads again, or they didn't want to get pulled away. It ended up not mattering too much because my Ganesh is healthy, and here we can probably get some kills.
Enemy has been slain.
We go to Danzaburo and I reset and wait for my cooldowns to come back up. I accidentally use my 3 on a teammate instead of an enemy, so I lose out on some damage there. And decide to focus on minions. 2 Ganesh ultimates, one in the other. A sight to behold. I don't know which one is mine and which one is the enemy's. I realize they're different because of the skins, but in real time I was too panicked to tell which is which, so I just decided to steer clear out of all of them. And now we've already lost our Gilgamesh, which means our team integrity is kind of cracked. And yeah, if they decide to show up, we're kind of in trouble. My Ganesh helps me escape. I don't know if he did that on purpose, but if he did, that was a very smooth play to just come a little bit closer to me so I can teleport to him. Here I am hovering over my heavenly wings. There's way more enemies than there are teammates, and I'm able to get us all out of here if need be. So I pop it. Artemis gets out safely. Then I decide to go back in like an idiot and see who I can pull, but I think I miss all my chains. No, I got the Achilles. But Achilles, ironically, is the one who can execute me. And I managed to escape with my life, but I am also the only person on the team who managed to do so. I don't know if that's entirely good. The enemy for sure gets the tier 2 tower, and if they decide, they can also push in all the way to the Phoenix. I don't believe I'll be able to stop them by myself.
I suppose I can
Now
still
that
tell you.
Gilgamesh is back, maybe we'll be able to repel them a little bit. I keep working on my Mantle of Discord. A little bit of survivability, I believe, will bring me a long way in these team fights. If I'm able to engage, get a kill, survive to get out, and then after my cooldowns reset, go in and get another kill or almost kills, which are also valuable enough, that would be great. That will allow us to win most of these team fights, I believe.
Super one special.
We were able to clean up the Ganesh and the Chang'e, which is great value. If we had our carry alive, we could also do the Gold Fury.
Are you crossing me?
But the Gold Fury has been cleared out, so that's kind of unfortunate. We should help ourselves to whatever we can find in the jungle, but we should also be wary of the enemies that are left alive.
It's our little secret.
And that's of course great timing, because it took us a while to get to the Gold Fury to discover it's been done in the first place, while we could have been going to the Pyromancer and contested it. But since we have no wards, we were also not able to tell that the enemy was going there in the first place. So I decided to rectify that a little and leave a ward there just in case they're doing the Fire Giant. All is safe, there's no enemies here and nobody's contesting the Enhanced Fire Giant.
Be right back.
Now it's starting.
The Fire Giant becomes a bigger objective at 30 minutes in the game. It's made so that the games can be ended quicker at that time. We are expected at this point of the game to gather up and do the Fire Giant. The team that can do that more successfully usually wins the game, because the Enhanced Fire Giant buff is insane. It gives a ton of regeneration, mana and health-wise, and it also helps you clear towers and phoenixes a lot faster.
They get for opposing master.
But we're kind of stuck. Both our team and the enemy team are not interested in the Fire Giant, and they just want a team fight. So it's a back and forth. Chang'e is doing a ton of damage for support. What is that?
What a clean cut.
Enemy missing left. Retreat. Be careful, right.
So the only thing we got from this really is a Danzaburo. And now my position is kind of compromised. I decide to use Heavenly Wings just to get out of there safely. I have no anchor to teleport to. I'm reunited with my team, but I'm down a relic, which sucks, but at least I'm alive.
On my way.
And as you can tell, there is a fight brewing in the middle lane. I really want to get a kill on that Izanami, but she disappeared. And as I turn around to poke at the Achilles, the whole enemy team decided to turn around the corner. And I think we all get cleaned up at this point. I just, like a dumbass, I stand in the Ganesh ultimate. I'm not used to telling which one is ours and which one is the enemy's. Ah, that's confusing and frustrating in so many levels. Like, whatever. Good played. Well played on the enemy side, I suppose. Ganesh probably gets executed here. Not even.
So close to being impressive.
And this puts our team in a dire situation. I wonder if Artemis can repel them by herself some. Of course she has Freya now to help her. Freya should have now reached a state where she's incredibly powerful, but still, if she gets dove too hard on, I don't know if there's much she can do about that. Try to see if my build needs anything extra, but at this point I'm all locked in. The only thing I'll be interested in doing is upgrading my relics and getting a red potion with the extra cash. Cash that I do now not have. Here's all the enemy team ganging up and running it down the mid lane, I guess. Yeah.
Your middle tower is under attack.
So the new game plan is to show up around the corner and try to get a kill on a single most important target, which is either Danzaburo or Izanami.
Your right tower.
But it will be very difficult to do, especially since they now cleared the Enhanced Fire Giant. So they're healing for a ton more, and they're doing a ton more. Did not get the Danzaburo. He ulted in time just to escape me, and again, dead to the Ganesh ult. Ganesh mid is scary, man. What is that damage? I'm used to the Ganesh ult being scary when he's a support and has 0 power in his build. But this is just obscene. So the whole team wipes. Most of us, I think, wanted to surrender at this point, but some of us still had integrity, and I salute them for it. I don't think it would be right to surrender the game. Not that we can turn it around, but, you know, just play it out. See what you can do, and if for nothing else, you can still use that as a target practice, you know. I feel like the enemy team deserved this win anyways. They managed to turn it around really nicely by the end. Ganesh thinks he can turn it around by himself, but unfortunately does not realize that he walked a little bit too deep. But hey, he managed to actually repel them for a little bit, and the Titan gets to live another day. And most of the enemies are now retreating, only Achilles is somewhat staying behind. Maybe we can get a kill on him. Doubtful though, doubtful. Our Ganesh completely whiffs his knock-up, and I chase a wrong leaf. How embarrassing. I slash another minion down, and here we split up in order to find out what we should contest or how we should best defend ourselves. Wrong move, by the way. I am holding 2 wards, at least, and I should be placing them right next to the doors, like the opening sliding doors of our base, because then we get to see the rotations that are closest to us. Enemies must have just been here because they cleared the Pyromancer, and we missed them. But going in to get the Pyromancer would also have been risky. It could have been like suicide for more than one teammate. So at this point we're playing way up. I think we would have been way better positioned if we defended our own structures like our Titans. But then again, we also can't just let them have every neutral objective on the map at once. Teamfight breaks out. I think I'm still panicking and not sure which Ganesh ultimate this is, so I just decide to walk around and maybe get an elimination on a key target. Anzaburo is looking mighty tasty here. Actually managed to do some damage, but he just ults. I'm hovering my ult button to use it if I get too low. Here we go. Managed to get some chains. Did not hit the Achilles, unfortunately, and Chang'e, of course, cancels my chains with her avoidance dance. I am now in a bad position, and I did not get executed. I used my Heavenly Wings in order to escape and improve my position. And it seems like the team is just having to retreat now, because unfortunately we're not able to push anymore, and we lost 2 key teammates. I realize this Fire Giant buff is lasting like forever. I don't know if they still have it at this point. Achilles got another execute, and it's looking rough all around. Here I get too brave for my own good and I decide to try and stop them, but I get stunned by Chang'e and followed up on by Achilles, and I guess that's kind of it. We're about to lose a fighting battle over the Titan, but nonetheless maybe Artemis can do something to shift it around. No, unfortunately not. So yeah, this game kind of ends here. I can't say anything besides I think that up until the point where we lost team fights consistently, our team kind of did play well. We weren't that far behind before that. And the enemy team prevailed. They played better, they grouped up, they pressured us out of objectives, and they took them when it was safe. Yeah, so still a lot to learn of this. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this dodgy jungle game, and I will see you in the next one. Stay grounded, everybody.